Major developments over the last 24 hours involving actor Alec Baldwin. I want to talk more about this morning with an expert. How could a deadly shooting on a set of the movie Rust have been prevented? How did it happen in the first place, right? That's what we've been asking since the beginning. What role does the armorer have in all of this? More than a year after this happened, Baldwin and the film's armorer, Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, are now facing criminal charges of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts each. Los Angeles-based union armorer Joey Dillon is joining us live this morning to talk more about it. And I want to talk about the implications of this case on the industry as a whole in a moment, but let's talk about some of the specifics. Alec Baldwin has said multiple times he did not pull the trigger. He told NewsNation's Chris Cuomo, fanning the gun, you've heard of fanning the gun, pulling the hammer back, that the gun can just fire. When you hear all of that as an expert in firearms, what do we need to know? What do we need to understand about basically how guns operate and how they can or cannot malfunction?
Yeah, these guns, these revolvers are single action, which means you need to cock the hammer back before you pull the trigger. So it's a 2-part method. So when the hammer is down, you can pull the trigger all you want. Nothing would happen. First, you got to pull the hammer back and then you can pull the trigger. So to me, it doesn't matter if you pull the trigger or not. If you pull the hammer back, you're ready to fire. And I've had plenty of situations where people threw the hammer back but didn't quite get it back to the notches that hold it back, and it did fall forward. So I'm not 100% confident that what the FBI says is 1,000,000% accurate. I think it's still possible. I've had plenty of actors that just don't intentionally pull the trigger, but their finger is riding on the trigger a little bit. So when the hammer comes back, the hammer just falls right away because they didn't intentionally pull with their finger, but they did have their finger resting on it. But I think, who cares if he pulled the trigger or not? He shouldn't have even made a big deal about it. There's absolutely no reason why the gun should have gone off. He was told it was safe. He should have been able to trust those that said it was safe. The actors and actresses trust me when I say that. I have actors and actresses accidentally pull the trigger all the time, and we work at that, and we go through training and stuff. But when they're in the moment and they're acting and they're trying to go fast, sometimes they accidentally pull the trigger. But the gun never goes off because there's a bunch of safety steps before that. They should be allowed to relax and do the best they can for the fake, fictional role that they're playing on camera. So if the gun's pointed in a certain direction and the hammer drops, it's not going to go off. The crew knows it's not going to go off because it's been checked by me. It's been checked by the first AD. It's been shown to the actor. It's been shown to the people it's being pointed at. And so it shouldn't matter whether he pulled the trigger or not. In my opinion, Baldwin's not responsible. He was given a gun that should have been empty.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. There's a level of trust between who has what role on the set of a movie. Is there more culpability? And the prosecution is going to argue this, that because he was an executive producer, that his role was amplified. He should have been involved in those procedural steps prior to holding the gun.
Yeah, so that is where I tell people at a producer level, as a responsibility, as someone with responsibility and authority on the set, if he carried that and it was producer credit was more than a vanity credit and he was aware of things, then perhaps you could try to go after him that way with the responsibility that way. Perhaps I'm not one of the investigators. I don't know how involved he was. But for people saying that because he pointed the gun and pulled the trigger, he should be culpable, to compare what happens on a movie set to what happens on ranges, or if you're cleaning a gun in your garage and it's your own gun and it goes off. It's sort of like if you don't maintain your car and you direct it towards somebody and the brakes fail, you're responsible. If you rent a car from a rental car place, do you go around checking the lug nuts and the brakes? No, you trust that the person of authority that gave you that machine is someone to be trusted, and you go out and drive it. So it's not his gun. He was not responsible for making sure it was safe. He should have been shown it was safe. Everybody should have been shown, and it should have been tested and checked. But just because it was in his hand, it's not the same as a real life situation with your own firearm.
Okay, so you could dispute the pulling of the trigger and who was responsible for checking it, but can you dispute that whether you're on a movie set or you're on the side of the road, you can't point a gun at a person if you're not willing to use it?
Feels that golden rule, correct. You're not supposed to break that rule of pointing it at people, but on a movie set, you don't break it until you go through all the safety checks to ensure that you can then point towards camera or point towards crew. So
thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.